So grab your mats, grab some water nearby, and if you want to play music at your place, feel free to play music. I'm gonna go ahead and
Perfect.
mute everyone here. Oh,
Yep.
did you have a question?
No, no, it's fine. It'll be
Okay.
okay.
All right, so go ahead and play music if you like, and I'm just gonna mute everyone. We're gonna get started because it's 6 o'clock. Uh, my screen is probably gonna zoom out at some point during this section, but it is what it is. Okay, let's start. Sitting nice and tall, inhaling through the nose, exhaling out through the mouth. Even though I periodically look at the screen at you, um, look at me when you need to, and then try to keep your head and neck aligned with your spine as much as possible. Inhale through the nose, exhale out through pursed lips. We're slowly getting into hot chocolate season, so we're going to have to start exhaling out forcefully to cool that hot chocolate down. Inhale and exhale. Lengthen through the spine, lengthen through the top of the head, exhale. I try to inhale to lengthen and exhale to draw my abdominals in. And what we're going to do for the next exhale is to roll on down. So inhale one more time and exhale. Roll it down one vertebra at a time. And now we're lying comfortably on the floor in neutral position. Inhale. So neutral position is there's a small space under the back. I can just slide maybe 3 or 4 fingers. I can't get my hand all the way through. It's not what imprint is. And then that's not what neutral is. An imprint is where I can't get any fingers under my lower back because my lower back has made contact with the mat. So we're inhaling, come to neutral, tailbone on the floor. Exhale, imprint, tailbone off the floor, lower back to the floor. So basically either the tailbone's on the floor or the lower back's on the floor, but they both shouldn't be on the floor at the same time. As you imprint and tilt your pelvis back, that's when your tailbone kind of lifts off. All right, one more time, inhale, neutral, exhale, imprints, and we're gonna lift the legs to tabletop. This is my sort of standard Pilates warm up here. I'm gonna really reinforce that imprint as we lower one leg. Exhale, lower, inhale, exhale, lower, inhale, lift. For tabletop, the shins are parallel to the floor and the thighs are vertical. We're going to try to keep that knee bend at 90 degrees as I tap that foot out. One more time on the second leg. Feel free to put some pressure into the hands if you need it. Put to lower both legs, keeping the knees bent at 90 degrees. If you feel your lower back come off the mat or you're losing the imprint, then stop the lowering of your legs. You can go halfway down and then back up. Whatever challenges your abdominal. Good, last two. Exhale. Inhale. Last time. Exhale. And inhale. From here, I just release my quadriceps. Take the feet down to less than 90-degree knee bend. And we are getting ready for a hip bridge. Inhale, prepare. Exhale. Rest of the feet. Lift your tailbone. Roll up one vertebra at a time. Actively reach those knees away from the shoulders. Inhale at the top. Exhale. Softening at your shoulder blade area. Roll on down one vertebra at a time. Traveling through imprint. Finish in neutral. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale at the top as you squeeze that butt. Exhale to slowly roll down. And inhale to relax the butt. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale at your peak, which is neutral. Try not to hyperextend the spine. Also, trying to not strain the lower back. If you feel any strain in the lower back, then just keep your hips a little lower. Good, ab prep. Head, neck, and shoulders come up, looking towards the knees, reaching with the fingers. Inhale, hold. Exhale, lower. Inhale. Exhale, lift. reach. Inhale, hold. Exhale, lower. Inhale. Just until the shoulder blades have cleared the mat. Not going too high here. Not doing the full roll up at this moment. When we go to our hundreds, we're going to absolutely reach the arms and pump those arms 100 times. You can do it with your legs on the ground. You can do it with your legs in tabletop, legs straight, or straight on the diagonal. So go ahead and pick your leg position. Again, ground, tabletop, legs, or diagonal. Actively reach and pump. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 10. Eyes on the knees. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 20. Inhale. Exhale. 30. Inhale. Exhale. 40. You can always change the angle of your legs. Lower is a little more challenging. Halfway done. Inhale. Exhale. 60. Inhale. Exhale. 70. Inhale. Exhale. 80. Inhale. Exhale. Almost there. 90. Inhale. And exhale. All right, we're done with our abdominal warm-up. Flip over for a little spine warm-up. So with the forearms on the ground, align everything to the floor. And then we're going to lift the chest and allow the head and neck to travel with the thoracic spine. So notice as I'm lifting the upper part of my torso, I'm not independently lifting my head. All right, we're going to keep that head and neck aligned with the spine. Inhale to lift, exhale to lower. Keep the tops of the feet on the mat for now. Gentle pressure into the forearms. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Let's do this last one with the arms on the ground. I'm going to try a few without the arms on the ground. Of course, feel free to keep the arms on the ground if you like. Here I'm reaching actively toward my toes and maybe getting a little more movement in my shoulder blades. Feel my shoulder blades slide towards each other. For the last four, I'm going to lift my legs as well. So on the inhale, I keep my legs straight and I lift my quads off the ground. Exhale, lower. 3 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Toes and fingers all reaching to the back. Inhale. Exhale. So there's a spine extension. So we're arching the back, which is the opposite of spine flexion here, which is what we are doing now to stretch. Much of the abdominal crunching we do is all in spine flexion. And the reason it doesn't feel like a stretch is because we're lying on our back and we're lifting head, neck, and shoulders up against gravity. Here we're going to create spine flexion going down with gravity. But it still works to resist gravity. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale. So if gravity took a hold of me, just yanked me straight down, it can if I didn't use any muscle to resist it. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale. Again, just coming halfway down. This is what I call the sticky point. If we do a full roll up, it's usually around that area that some of us might get stuck. Sometimes I get stuck there. So we have to use a little bit of momentum to try to get past that point. Or we just slow it down. So let's try to find that area where it's like the most challenging. And we'll feel this when we do the full roll up. So keep your knees exactly like it is. Roll all the way down. And let's find that sticky point. So we're basically going to do like the half roll back, except we went all the way down. So use your arms and reach to the ceiling, not the chin. We'll reach toward the toes. So right here, when the lower back starts to come off the ground, that's the most challenging point. And whew, we got past it. Inhale. So here it starts looking like a half roll back. And this is where I pause for the half roll back. So now I'm going to go all the way down, articulating my spine, going down one vertebra at a time. So a very mobile spine will allow this movement to flow easier. So sometimes if we have trouble with this, it's not because we have limited abdominal strength, because our spine isn't as mobile as we would like it to be. Keep those shoulders relaxed away from the ears. Let's try one more with the knees bent. What happens is sometimes our hip flexors can help us get all the way up. So if we have our legs straight, then we can take away the hip flexors. So I'm just gonna, since I've been pointing my toes this whole time, I'm gonna flex my foot just for a little variety. Full roll up, inhale, and exhale, on the chin. Forward stretch. This feels great for the hamstring and back. And move nice and slowly so you're feeling the work as you resist gravity. You work your abdominals in both directions. Inhale, arms, head, shoulder blades. Exhale, pull your spine off the ground using your abdominals. Let that exhale take you through the stretch. Inhale. We start going back down and exhale through the most challenging phase of the workout. Do two more. A nice strength of the abs and then a stretch of the hamstring. One more. Okay, go ahead and slide your heels in as well, hugging those knees in for your abdominal series. Here, you can extend the leg to any diagonal you want. You can keep the head and shoulders down, or you can lift them up. Inhale for the transition. Exhale, stretch that leg. Inhale, exhale. Just move my hands side to side to the bent knee. Since I've opted to lift my head, neck, and shoulder blades off the ground, I'm going to do my best to keep my entire shoulder blade off the ground. At any point, you can always rest your neck. Hands behind the head, give it a little support. Let's worry less about the legs, but focus on keeping the elbows nice and wide and the shoulder blades off the mats. The shoulder blade gets close to the mat, but doesn't quite touch the mats. And hopefully you can feel whether your shoulder blade has made contact with the mat or not. Exhale, inhale, exhale. Double leg stretch. So you can, again, rest your head if needed. Pick the angle you want your legs and arms to go to. We're not going to do too many of these. I'm going to do a variation. All right, so let's try the variation. Pause here at tabletop. So you're going to bring the legs down. You're going to bring your arms down by the hips. Bring your knees and feet together. Stay arms already together. Similar to the warm-up, we're going to do a double leg tap. Exhale. Inhale, return. Exhale, reach. This kind of looks like we're doing hundreds. Inhale, return. Exhale, lower the toes. Inhale to lift the tabletop. Exhale, extend on any diagonal you like while lifting the head and shoulders. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Alternating the breath. Inhale. Exhale. Reinforce that imprint. Inhale. Last one here. Good. Returning to tabletop. We extend the legs vertical for our scissors. Now recall for our scissors, our legs are going to do its own movement. And then when your leg gets to mostly vertical, then you can grab your leg and give it a little extra sort of hamstring stretch. Inhale, switch. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. So it's not about like grabbing the leg as soon as you can. Let the leg do its thing. Requires a lot more abdominal this way. Inhale. Exhale. Two more on each side. last one I said. And hopefully you felt your abdominals nice and tight, so we will relax them by coming once again to our stomach. Working the spine muscles with a little bit more endurance, so that means we're going to keep our upper body and lower body off the ground a little longer. So first, let's do just the upper body. Stack the hands. Put the forehead on the hands. Going to inhale, lift the arms and rib cage. The spine muscle does a little bit more work because it's now lifting the weight of your arm. Not too many here. And then we're going to lift the upper body as well as both legs. Remember, there's no bending of the knees. So we inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Just a couple more. And don't want to tire you out too much here. And now for the main exercise. We lift. I stay lifted as I extend the arms to the corners. Return hands to forehead and then lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, reach. Inhale, hand return. Exhale, lower. Keep alternating the breath. My legs are apart. My arms are apart. My legs are straight and my arms start bent and then they straighten. So really actively try to reach those arms and feel the triceps work as you extend those elbows. Last two. A little bit of endurance here as we hold the legs up while the arms do its thing. Last one. All right. Always give yourself a little stretch post spine work. Try an exercise with some hip lifts. We'll make our way to it. First thing first is getting range of motion in our hip socket. So I can take my leg in the biggest circle like this, but if my body moves with it, then I haven't really isolated my hips, right? My hip range of motion. So we really want to keep the torso still, really imprint the spine. We're going to put a little pressure to the hands to make sure that our body doesn't rock side to side. All right, you can probably see my pink orange waistband if it moves. So I'm going to take my one leg. We're going to do both legs, so it doesn't matter which one you're using first. I'm going to go across the midline, cross my body, sweep it down. Use my exhale here, sweep it out to the side and back to the top. Hamstring stretch, quads. Inhale to lower. Exhale, sweep up. So find the biggest circle you can make that challenges your hamstring flexibility and also challenges your abdominal stability. So if the circle is really small, your abs barely have to work to stabilize your body. Circle is a little bigger, your abs have to kick in. There's no rocking side to side. Reverse direction here. It's also good to know the range of motion of your hips. You should have the ability to make a nice big circle with your hips. Pay attention to any impingement or pain that you feel. I mean, if there's pain, don't do it. Make the circle smaller. But ideally, you should be making the same size circle from one side to the other. So we're just about to test it. Last time here. The abdominal work, quad work, as we do these. The leg muscles, especially your quads, should be pretty fatigued by the time you do 10 circles, 5 in each direction. I'm rolling my ankles now. Good to just make sure all our joints are working. Other leg. This is my right leg. I'm definitely more flexible on my right. I just know it. I can feel it. So I can go much farther to the right than my left can go to the left. Inhale at the top. Exhale at the bottom. Make sure the other knee's staying still and not moving anywhere. And reverse direction. Inhale. Exhale. Use that exhalation to sweep your leg up. Last one. And hug that knee in. Rotate the ankles 2 or 3 times in each direction. So now we're going to do leg circle with both legs, and we're going to alternate directions. So I'm going to go clockwise to the right, maybe a little more oval, down a little bit, however low you want, up on the left. That's my clockwise. Pause at the top, your 12 o'clock, and go counterclockwise. You don't want to go too far to the side now because both legs are in play. So there's no leg on the floor to keep your body stabilized or help keep your body stabilized. Then there's very high chance you're just going to tip over. So I'm pretty much not going past like my shoulders. Got it counterclockwise. Inhale. At the top, exhale at the bottom. Now, if you would like to add an optional hip lift, you make this circle, and then when you get to the top, you kind of ride the wave of momentum a little bit, not too much momentum, from the 6 o'clock. So I'm coming down. I know I'm going to do my hip lift, so I'm going to come up a little faster. And I pause here. I'm going to go counterclockwise. And at the 6 o'clock, sweeping up. So make your circle. Maybe this looks like a teardrop. Or a raindrop. Whatever, a drop. So I keep alternating sides. So I'm not always going the same direction. It's part of the challenge. Feel free to push into your hands if you need to get a little hip lift. Just until the lower back. Last one here. All right. Abdominals should be pretty fatigued after all that. So once again, we flip back over. So this is what it's about. It's like flipping a pancake. Just keep flipping yourself back and forth. So brush stroke allows our arms to sweep. So this gets our shoulder joint in action here. We haven't done as much with our shoulders now. So we inhale to lift. Oh, sorry. We inhale to dive forward. Oh, my bad. We inhale to reach back, and we exhale, dive forward. Actually, any breath works, to be honest. Now, when I lower down, I have my nose and chest and arms just really close to the floor, but I'm not at a full rest. Not like before where I laid everything down. So there's a little bit of component of endurance of the spine here. Reach the arm forward, circle to the side, reach it back. Great for your shoulder range of motion. Now let's add the legs if you like. And the leg is just going to lift when my arms reach back. They're going to lower when my arms reach forward. They're going to lift, arms reach back. Let's try 3 more here. Last one. Okay. Back to our stretch. Going into our shoulder. Actually, before we do that, let's do a plank. Elbows underneath the shoulders. Extend one heel back, and then the other. You can do your transverse abdominis as well as squeezing your butt and your quads. And if you don't, then maybe your butt's a little too high. See if you can lower it until it's about shoulder height. Then you can really feel all your stabilizers working together. Your glutes are contracted in the back. Your abdominals are contracted in the front, and your quads are contracted in the front. Also pressing to the floor with the forearms to stabilize the shoulders. 2 more breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Okay. I was going to do the hip bridge, but why don't we just do some side work and then we'll go into the hip bridge later. So line yourself to the front edge of your mat. I mean, it doesn't be perfect, but you should be able to tell with your naked eye that you're more or less in a straight line. Watch your arm, that it's not forward. If your arm is straight with the rest of your spine, then your head will be as well when it lays on the arm. Just a quick reach up to make sure you're a little unstable, then you know you're in the right spot. A few fingers for stability. Now, you can see where my hip hikes. So we're trying to avoid a hip hike. Keep your hip down, stacked. Inhale, point, lift, exhale, flex, lower. Now I know only the top leg is moving, but you want the bottom leg to be engaged as well. All right, this bottom leg is going to just relax. You can point or flex the bottom leg. It's your choice, but it should be pretty active. Pointing and flexing the foot, getting some range of motion at ankles. Last one here. You can keep the foot pointed or flexed for the circles. Inhale, one circle. Exhale for the next. Holding the leg at hip height. Turning the outer thigh here. The outer thigh muscles are responsible for lateral stability of our pelvis. And core muscles are any extra muscle that attaches to our pelvis or our spine. Reverse. Don't worry if it's not a perfect circle. I'm just trying to kind of pulse the leg, very small range of motion, holding it at parallel, which is a position of duress, basically. You can hold the top leg still, bring the bottom one up to meet it, and lower both. Staggered leg lift. Top, bottom, both. Inhale, lift the top. Exhale, squeeze the bottom one up. On that same exhale, you're going to lower both. Inhale, exhale, and continue to exhale. You don't need to lift the top leg so high that your bottom leg can't meet it. Looking at parallel. Then keep the legs together and lift both and lower both. And you should feel these obliques here. I'm still doing my best to not let my hip hike. I mean, you can probably see some movement on my waist yet, but the idea is that your legs can move within the hip socket joint without disturbing the pelvis. All right, so you should be feeling a little here. And now we're going to prop ourselves up on this bottom elbow to target the obliques on the underside. So you have a couple options. Stay lifted out of the shoulder. You can have the bottom knee down. You can have both legs straight, stagger with the top leg in front. Or you can step. And stacking is the most challenging because there's a chance you can lose your balance and fall back on your butt, which has happened to me before. So when we do this, we're not going to just come to neutral. Or actually, this is neutral, I would say. We're going to go a little bit past neutral. That way we can really focus on these obliques on the bottom side. So a little bit past neutral. Exhale, lift. I think I'm staggering my leg because I feel like I'm going to fall on my butt. Maybe 3 more. Good. For one more exercise, we're going to stay here. Bend the knees. Bring it forward. I step on my spine along the back edge of the mat. So my spine, my butt, or my pelvis, I should say, and my feet are on the same line. My knees are drawn forward. Now, if you're getting fatigued in the shoulder, feel free to lay back down. But part of the challenge here is to also just work on that shoulder girdle. So we're doing clamshell, which you've probably done before, but lying down on the arm. So just doing it propped up. If you need to remind yourself to stay lifted out of the bottom shoulder, you can reach this top arm up. If this is clamshell, external rotation, kneecaps face up and then they face forward. And you can add the clamshell with the hip lift. How do we do that? First, do the hip lift and make sure that you're in a position to do it. So you lift the hip and then open, close, and hip lift, open, close, and down. All right. Listen to your body. This feels like it's a lot. Just do the clamshell. It's all good. The main focus is the clamshell, not the hip. So 2 more. Last one. And I'm definitely feeling it in the shoulder too. So this is definitely a great shoulder stabilizer and strengthener. You get to lie all the way down again. Oh man, my elbow needs to pop. That was weird. Yeah, I just like to lift my arm real fast. So I know I'm in the right spot. I'm a little unstable. And that's how I know I'm in the right spot. Inhale, point lift. Exhale, flex lower. Keep the bottom leg active. Top leg, quads are very, very much engaged. Kneecaps and toes face forward. Neutral position of the leg. All right, little circles. Very slow, very small. Inhale, there's one. Exhale, there's another. Reverse. And I probably can't even tell what direction I'm moving. Circles are so small, it's so slow. Might look like I'm just lifting and lowering a small pulse, and that's pretty much what it is. Around this time is when your outer thigh really starts to get fatigued. Hold it still, bring the bottom leg up to meet it, and lower. Staggered, lift, lift, and lower. Lift, lift, and lower. Bring it important in the sense that you should breathe. But as to whether you're inhaling or exhaling during a lift, not a big deal. Once you have your legs set to a certain height, try not to lower it down to the bottom leg. Bring the bottom leg up to meet it. And if you do find that you're constantly lowering the top leg, then you probably have to not lift the top leg as high. All right, both legs, they stay together. Like best friends. Do best friends do everything together? Who knows? All right, so we are working in or out of thighs, but we're also starting to work up into the obliques. Last one. Good. So moving on to the obliques and shoulders. If you remember what you did last time, if you had your knees bent, do it again with your knees bent. If you had it stacked, do it. I mean, not stacked, staggered. And if you had it stacked, do it stacked. So I think I started stacked and then I did staggered. Totally okay to change. A little bit past neutral, so a little higher. If you know, just go as high as you can. Exhale, lift as high as you can. Stay lifted out of your bottom shoulder. This is staggered. Staggered foot position. 2 more. We're not quite done here. Again, if you want to lay all the way down again for your clam shell, you can. This just, works your shoulder for a little bit more. I don't know what to do with this arm. definitely don't need it for a kickstand. Maybe I'll just keep it up here. So there's a straight line. I mean, my body's kind of curved, but basically bird's eye view is ears, shoulders, pelvis, and feet are in the same line. So you can continue to do the clam shell as it. You can add the hip lifts. So you hip lift. So I'm kind of used to coming to the sort of the front part of my shin, the side of my shin, and I open, close, again. So my hips do push forward a little bit, and it has to because my knees are full. All right, drop the butt back down. Extend the hip, push forward. You know your shoulders starting to feel it. Two more, two more. And last one. Okay. So on to the backs. So the shoulder bridge from the beginning, from the warm-up, is what we're going to do now. So we're still continuing with abdominal stabilization and pelvis work. So muscles around the pelvis, your glutes, your outer thighs, even your inner thighs. So the important thing is to lift the right and left hip. So here, your hip bone. These nubby hard things right here. You want to lift at the same height. Okay? Okay, here's the challenge. We gotta do it with one leg off the ground. I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do a progression. So we'll start with one version and then progress. So first is you lift the hip, straight line, and you lift one knee, hip should stay the same height, and you extend the leg on the diagonal without dropping the hip. Return to tabletop, foot down, butt down. Other side, hips, tabletop, extend on the diagonal. A little challenging, extend on the diagonal. Return to tabletop. Okay. Now, you can extend vertical. It'll just work your quads a little more and stretch your hamstring. You can try that. You're here. I've done this plenty of times, which is why I'm doing a variation of the diagonal. But just to show you options out there, you can take any options you like. Oh, my hamstrings are really tight. I can barely straighten it. So I'm going to do the diagonal because it does challenge my abs a little bit more. And it taxes my hamstrings less. The whole time, it's about the right and left hip bone, are at the same height. Okay, we're going to stay on the same leg, the front leg, and we're going to extend the leg out 4 times before we lower the body. Extend for 4. Pull in. For 3. For 2, the butt up, and 1. Switch legs. Drop your butt if you need to. If not, we're ready for the other side. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, now I want to show you another variation. This is a little bit of progression because you're going to be externally rotating the leg. So you all are probably familiar with this stretch. Cut the ankle over the opposite knee. That's externally rotated. In order to even get your foot in this position, you have to turn your knee out. Now I'm going to lift. Right and left hip, same height. From here, I'm going to lift my legs on the diagonal again. So first thing I do is lift the leg up, rotate it, so it's back to neutral, then extend it, then pull it in, then externally rotate it, place the leg down, and drop. Let's do that again, same leg. All right, so there's just an extra external rotation. Mid-air, lift, internally rotate, extend, return, externally rotate. Do all that without dropping your butt. Let's try it one more time, and then we'll do 3 on the other side as well. Lift, rotate, extend, bend, rotate. All right, switch. That's the stretch. Probably don't feel the stretch here. And lift. You don't really need to look at your leg too much, but definitely keep an eye gaze on your hip bones. This is back to neutral. We've already done this, but what we haven't done is we haven't externally rotated the leg. I haven't just put the foot down earlier. 2 more times. And last time. Okay. All right. So hug your legs in, relax your butt a little bit, open up the hips. We're going to teasers next. So I'm going to show the standard teaser and then a couple variations. Starting from tabletop. Reach the arms, lob the chin, lift the shoulder blades, and extend the legs. Maybe a little kick out, just enough to get to your tailbone. Inhale, you hold. You want to extend the legs out so you can control the rolling down. Very similar to the roll up. Arms, head, shoulders, legs, abs. Inhale. Exhale. Let me show you the variation. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. We're not going to go all the way down. We're going to do an open and shut. So we're going to go exhale, open, inhale, close. Exhale, open, inhale, close. So when we open, it's like we're going to roll down. And now this time we got to roll down. So we open and roll down. And return. So it's like we pretended like we're going to roll down, but we didn't just yet. Now you can do that once, you can do it twice, you can do it 3 times. I'm going to do it twice again, but if you want to do it once, or you want to skip it entirely and just do the teaser part, go for it. All right? Find what challenges you. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, going down. Exhale. Return. Add some more variation if you want. Roll them up. You can open up the arms. Exhale. A little more challenging when you take those arms back. Exhale. Inhale. Okay. I just keep my arms forward for the rolling down to that last part. Okay, let's do just one more time since each one is so long. All right, take a break here. We're going to do some more spine work. So we're going to be on our elbows. You can do this on your wrist as well, but we're going to do some angle work. So it's all about knowing your angles. Here I know that my leg is parallel. If I were to get it aligned with my spine, I need to lift my leg just a smidgen higher, right? I know if you don't have a mirror or you're looking into your Zoom screen, it might be hard to know, where is my leg so it's parallel to my spine? But over time you will have a better idea of it. It's called proprioception, knowing where your body is in space. Now here, this is too arched, here it's too rounded. You still want a neutral spine, even though it's a tilted spine. All right, let's extend the leg and extend it straight into a straight line aligned with your torso. Okay, try it a couple more times. Good, brace your abs. You don't want to lift higher than your torso either, because that forces an arch in your back. So we're really looking for that exact position. All right, let's start with the first leg. We're going to move it across the midline. So I'm going to move it away from you. And notice that I'm maintaining that same angle, but I'm just moving it side to side. So lateral movement. I have that range in my hip socket. Align with the hip, midline across the body. So check your awareness of your body's position in space, that the leg stays pretty much in line with your spine at the angle, at a tilt, but it's going laterally across the midline. So you should feel in the thigh and then out the thigh. Let's try the other leg. So I've lifted my leg and then I'm moving it side to side. With my back leg, so to cross the midline, I gotta move it towards you. And sometimes what happens is legs go dropping, legs drop and start going up and down instead of side to side. It's part of the challenge. Feel your inner thigh work as you bring it across the midline. Feel your outer thigh work as you take it back laterally. Keep alternating your breath. This involves a lot of abdominal stabilization and spine stabilization. All right, finish up here. Good. I'm just doing some cat-cow. Just get some range of motion in your spine. And let's go into a rotation. So remember, your spine can laterally bend, and it can rotate, and it can flex, and it can extend. So we're gonna go into a rotation. I'm gonna thread my hand underneath. So my pelvis is still pretty much square to the floor, but I'm trying to get my rib cage and chest facing the side. Yeah, try the other side. Thread it through. And then here you can either sit cross-legged or in however you like to sit so that you're able to have a really straight spine. All right, and we're going to do a lateral bend. Feeling that stretch here. Great stretch to do if you're sitting at your desk for a long time. Try the other side. Reach your arm back, open up that chest. Again, assuming you're at a meeting, you're stuck at your chair, and you can't stand up and do much, maybe you can do a little bit of stretching in your seat that no one will notice. So squeezing your shoulder blades together. Lifting your chest forward. The opposite of slouching, where your shoulder blades are separated and your chest is drawn. Well, thanks so much for joining me for Pilates.